I was thinking about Thanksgiving when I was thinking about what to talk about today, and I was thinking, what do we have to be grateful for in the tech industry? And that got me to wondering about what the big trends for 2022 were, what was happening, what was going on. And that got me to a Forbes article that was published February 21st in 2022. I put the link in the comments there, and it was by a futurist named Bernard Marr, and he published this, and like I say, in February, talking about what was going to be coming in the year 2022. So I thought it might be fun over the next couple of days to take a look at these topics, what he thought was coming, where things are today, how good his futurist predictions were. Futurist stuff is always interesting to read. Now, you might not know exactly what a futurist is. Futurists are basically data scientists, and it's changed a little bit over the years. Back in the 60s, there were people called futurists that would, just kind of make predictions about trends. Nowadays, futurists are more like data scientists, and they measure what's being talked about, what's being discussed, what kind of papers are coming out, academic papers, what kind of news topics are coming out, what trends are happening based on data, and then they make their predictions based on that. So it's not exactly a hard science like most of these types of sciences, but it's interesting nonetheless, and you can get some real insights off of that type of stuff. So what do we have to be grateful for in 2022? These were the trends that everyone thought was going to be coming, and this is by Mr. Marr here. So let's take a look at some of these. Number one was computing power. Computing power will continue to explode in 2022, and they're going to have considerably more cloud infrastructure, and more businesses will be re-platforming to the cloud. I don't know if that's entirely true. Some of that is certainly true. We've definitely had lots of our customers have transitioned their cloud. Some people have built up their own data centers. It's very, very common now to be using a hybrid cloud environment where a lot of the data is stored locally within your system, and then they'll use the cloud for other things. They'll use the cloud to kind of reach out and extend their reach with various different types of tools and techniques. He also mentioned that 5G was being rolled out and 6G just on the horizon. I've honestly heard nothing about 6G. The trend still seems to be very much in favor of 5G technology and Wi-Fi 6E. I'm sure it's on the horizon. I mean, they're always thinking ahead on this type of stuff, right? But now what that is and what that's going to look like, who knows? We're still working very diligently in getting 5G acceptable and working as we're moving forward. Now, what about number two, smart devices? Growing computer power is enabling us to create smart devices. We have the intelligent televisions, autonomous cars, and more intelligent robots that can work alongside humans to complete more tasks. Now, that's definitely happening. We have lots and lots of smart devices, lots of smart home devices are becoming more and more common. And of course, people are doing wearables. I don't think wearables have quite hit the point where people imagined that they would, say 10 years ago, when people were first kind of talking about Apple Watches and other kind of smart device. At the time, people were talking about like smart clothes, wearable clothes, all kinds of different meters and everything. Smart devices really come down to basically two things, two personal devices, and that's the watches and the earbuds are pretty popular. If you want to consider earbuds a smart device, a personal device. Now, there have been rings and some other things that have kind of come along over the years. None of them have really caught on. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I haven't seen those. And definitely, I remember years ago they talked about smart shirts and smart pants and things like that. Those never really appeared to materialize. But like I say, as 5G increases, as computational power increases, of course, the question is, and these devices could be used more for edge computing purposes. So they would connect to your device. Your device would be like an edge that they would interact with. So who knows what's coming in the future? But as of right now, I haven't seen any personal devices that have really taken off in personal use day to day. despite the promises from the past. What about quantum computing? That's number 3. Now, again, this was in February of 2022. From my understanding, we have not seen any impact of quantum computing yet. So here's the whole thing. If you're not familiar with quantum computing, here's the fundamental problem with quantum computing. Quantum computing is an entirely theoretical form of computation. Conceptually, the way that it works is a quantum computer exists in all states at one time. So instead of doing calculations, every calculation's made all at once, and then it expires. So it's kind of a hard thing to wrap your head around. Again, nobody even knows if quantum computing is possible. There's all kinds of theoretical ways to create. It doesn't even use bits and bytes and data logic the way that you think of with computers. It uses more. It uses like a predictive threshold. It's a very strange thing. Theoretically, though, in a second, you would be able to get what would be the equivalent of billions and billions and billions of calculations if you did it. So just imagine if you wanted to hack, say you had a code that you wanted to hack, and in order to hack it, you would have to try a trillion different codes against this one code. Well, in theory, with a quantum computer, you could do that in a second. So you just put in the code, turn on the machine, and then the answer just pops out. That's the way that it would actually work in practice. And the big question is that even possible? I mean, it all works theoretically on a chalkboard, but so far, nothing has ever been produced from that. And then, of course, the other thing that you have to consider is people say, well, yeah, they have created it, but it's so powerful that the CIA and the FBI and the governments have all come in and clamped down on it, so it's all hidden and super secret. Who knows? Might be tinfoil stuff. Might not be. It would be unbelievably powerful if somebody actually created that technology. So who knows? Up next, number 4 on his list is datafication. Of course, datafication is going to be a huge trend. There's no way around that. Data is the biggest asset that any company has. You have all kinds of predictive data, and you add that to AI, and you can tell, what people are going to buy, when they're going to buy it, what's the most likely trigger to get them to buy it, things like that. Just unbelievable tools. The more data you capture, the more you can do with it. And then, of course, that also leads into the problem of what gets measured gets managed. So what if you're capturing the wrong data? You'll learn, things like that with statistics in books like Moneyball and other types of statistical analysis understandings like that. They made a lot of money measuring certain statistics, but once it became well known what statistics were most important, then everybody started using those statistics and didn't give anybody the advantage like it originally did. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind when it comes to measuring data and data management. Are you measuring the right data to make a difference, or are you measuring the wrong data? Because you can go into some big trailing rabbit holes that lead to nowhere if you focus too much on the wrong data. And then that all leads into artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, that has really exploded in 2022, and that is going to be the big thing moving forward. I have no doubt about that. AI is being used today to write books, literally. They're using AI to record audio. So there's AI models where you can, you want to pick the voice of let's say Tom Cruise. You want to have Tom Cruise read your book, your audio book. Well, then you just get this AI machine, this bot will record your book. Have one AI write the book for you, have another AI record the audio for the book for you, have another AI that writes blogs to promote the book on social media that promotes the book, and then another AI that manages the social media, and then another AI that comes up with illustrations, and that's really the world that we're running into. There's a podcast out there right now that actually uses AI to come up with premises of their joke, and they are comedians, and they fed in all of their jokes and all of their comedy specials, and now they let the AI spit out premises, and they use the premises to create new jokes, and they do it all live on podcast. And that's the world that we're heading into with machine learning, and that's going to be a wild world because who knows where that's going. So there's the top 5 of our article. You can explore them all using the link provided here in the comments. We'll go over the rest of them tomorrow, and we'll figure out where we're going to go from there on Wednesday as we head into the Thanksgiving break.